I want to be sick, I want to be diseased, I want to be unhealthy, I want to be obese, I want to be unwell, I want to be unhappy, I want to be fat. Said no person ever, I don't think, I hope. So if you want to be healthy, fit, strong, lean, energetic, what do you need to do? And in a world where we are literally fatter, sicker, weaker, more depressed and more diseased than we've ever been, even though we've got more information on how to be healthy, fit and strong than we've ever had, what should we do? And if we go back to zero-based thinking, which is, let's say there's no doctors, no hospitals, no pharmaceuticals, no drugs, nothing that can help us to stay healthy, fit and strong, what would we do? If you're a parent and you had a choice between the fundamentals of fresh air, sunshine, healthy food, keeping your children fit and strong because they're exercising, jumping, kicking, running, playing outside in the fresh air, versus constantly taking your kids to the doctor or having them at the hospital, what would you choose? And I've got to be very careful with that question, of course, because I don't have any children. But I have been a child, and it's really interesting. My mother was a nurse, and when I was growing up, my father was a builder. And many times on my father's building site, I fell over, scraped my knee, hurt myself, sprained an ankle, all sorts of stuff. And I remember this day very clearly. I picked up something, it was glass or a tile or something, and I cut my hand really badly. And it looked like my hand was open, and it looked like my fingers were hanging off. And the people that saw it first said, oh, she's got to go to the hospital and get stitches. But my mother said this, and without any panic, my mother was obviously a very good nurse. She just said, no, we'll fix that. And she put pressure on it straight away, bandaged it up, cleaned it first, bandaged it up, and she said, the body will heal itself. And I thought, as a child, I didn't know what that really meant. But as I've grown up and grown older, is it possible that the body can heal itself, and does it? And perhaps with medical interventions and drugs and pharmaceuticals, we can heal quicker or faster or better. But what if we didn't have them? And with my study of the human body, which is something I do every single day and have done since I was 13 years of age, it's really interesting that the human body is designed, the endocrine system, hormonal system is designed to keep us alive, to survive, to feel fantastic and to reproduce. That's the biological reason why we're alive. Our immune system, which is built inside our bones, is designed to fight diseases, fight bugs, fight germs, fight viruses, help us recover quickly from illness, disease, from injury. The body is designed to work that out for itself. And if we were cave people, or we were way, way, way back where there were no hospitals and doctors and drugs, how did we survive? And it seems that the human body is quite capable of looking after itself. Now, the other thing I've been told many times in my career, because I've done some stupid exercises and wrecked my body and hurt myself a lot, I've been told you need a knee reconstruction, or you need to have back surgery, or you need to have a shoulder reconstruction, or you need to have something that there's physiotherapists and chiropractors and doctors and that surgeons in particular, because surgeons do surgery, so they love for you to have surgery. But I always ask this question. I don't want to go to the doctor, I don't want to go to the hospital, I don't want to take drugs. So I always ask that question. If I didn't have a surgery, could I still recover? If I didn't get stitches, could I still recover? And I know that because of my experience when I was a child. Do I have to take this drug? What if I didn't take the drug, what would happen? And the reason I ask that question is I now stand before you as a very old lady that has been told literally that I had to have 2 knee replacements, I had to have back surgery, 2 shoulder replacements, and I never have. I've never had a surgery, and I lift heavy things every day in the garden. I'm raking and picking and lifting logs and rocks. I lift heavy weights once every 7 days or so. I get puffed and sprint and box and kick and jump and run every single day. And yet all of my joints, which were supposedly needed surgery, I've never had. Now, this is not, please don't have surgery or please don't get a pharmaceutical intervention, but I've always asked, what would happen if I didn't get that? And there's, again, another side note for that. I've seen too many people who go into hospital as healthy human beings, particularly athletes, fit, strong, healthy people, and they come out of hospital sick. One of the places that I always aim to avoid even to visit is a hospital, because it seems to be that there's a lot of sickness in hospital, a lot of diseases and a lot of germs, and people get sick when they go to hospital, and I don't want to get sick. I love being healthy. So what if, instead of choosing, I'll rephrase, what if our last resort, our last option was medication, pharmaceuticals, drugs, surgery, medical intervention. What if we aim to do something at the start rather than go straight to there? So now we live in a world where, and this to me is really scary, there's a couple of diseases, obesity and type 2 diabetes, which were, obesity was very rare when I was growing up, and type 2 diabetes was called age onset diabetes because old people that were inactive and got fat got type 2 diabetes. Now we have children, little children, going to the doctor and they are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, so high blood sugar levels. And we've got lots of obese children, not just overweight children, but obese children. And in some countries in the world right now, there's no talk about let's eat some healthy food and let's get fit and let's get strong and let's do some exercise and let's get some fresh air and sunshine. Let's get off our screen and let's get outside. There's none of that going on. The first suggestion to most parents now is we need to put your child on type 2 diabetes medication. We need to put your child on a weight loss medication. And even worse than that, your child's unhappy, so we need to put them on antidepressant medication. And all I'm asking, and I don't have any children, so again, I've got to be very careful. But when you look at the side effects of antidepressant medication, of type 2 diabetes medication, and particularly now weight loss medication, because the weight loss drugs that are being diagnosed to, or given to children who have been diagnosed as obese now, the biggest challenge with those weight loss medications is that most of the weight loss comes from muscle loss, not from fat loss. So yes, your child will lose weight. You as an adult will lose weight if you use that medication, but it's predominantly muscle loss, which means your metabolism slows down, you get weak, your ability to fight germs, bugs, viruses, and diseases is reduced. Because when you've got less muscle, you've got less muscle pulling on bone, and your immune system is built inside your bones. So it seems that we're heading down the track of getting sicker and weaker and more depressed and sicker because of medication. Now that's just something that I observe every day. I've got to be very careful about, I can't afford to have an opinion even. I just am observing because I don't want our kids to be sick. We've got kids now with type 2 diabetes, with coronary heart disease, with osteoporosis, with depression, and they're overweight and they're full of pills now. And I just that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want that. If I had kids, I wouldn't want that. And I share with you because I've got puppy dogs. We rescue puppy dogs at the moment. We've got 5 dogs and I love my puppy dogs. And the thing that's really awesome, sometimes we've got to go to the vet, and I hate even taking my dogs to the vet because I don't want to put my dogs on medication either. But if one of them has an accident or they get a cut and we have to take them to the vet, there's something very special when the vet says your dogs are really healthy. My dogs get fresh air, sunshine, they exercise every day, they obviously get healthy food and lots of love. And what if that was the fundamental for humans as well? Fresh air, sunshine, get puffed, run around, eat healthy food and get lots of love. The fundamentals of the human body being healthy is not that complicated, and yet we seem to be looking for a quick fix. So I'm going to ask the question again. There are lots of drugs and lots of pharmaceuticals and lots of medical interventions that I'm sure are awesome. But why do we go there first? Why would I want to put my child on, and for example, antidepressant medication? The number one side effect of that is suicidal tendencies. Now, the thing that I hate connecting, but I do this because this is what I do for a living, we have a massive increase in teen suicide in the Western countries in the world. We've got most of our kids now, as soon as they're unhappy, as soon as they don't feel good about themselves, they're being raced off to the doctor and the doctor puts them on antidepressant medication. Surely there's got to be some kind of connection there that we've got to consider, that we're not doing the right thing by our kids. I live in the South Island of New Zealand where there's fresh air, sunshine, snow, lakes, rivers, fishing, hunting, mountain climbing, bike riding. The kids are doing more stuff down here, and it's really interesting because we have less sick kids, we have less obese kids, we have much happier kids than the kids that are living in a house where they're in air-conditioned air all the time. They're in a school with air-conditioned air. There's a lot of schools now where sports become almost non-existent, and physical education, which when I was growing up was a normal part of every day, most schools don't have that anymore. Surely we can make a connection there that our kids are sitting on their backsides in air-conditioned air, not moving around. And this is a really interesting thing for me because I talk about this every day. If you would like to be a rock star or a movie star or a doctor, and you're told you're not smart enough to be a doctor, but you've got to sit in school to get some lousy stinking job when you finish school, and they're being bombarded with bad news every day on the news, and the world is coming to an end and it's going to burn and we've got all these terrible things going on, is it possible that we're feeding into our kids' heads negative, horrible stuff rather than happy stuff? Is it possible we're putting into our kids' bodies horrible stuff? So whether it's medication or it's high fat, high processed, high sugar foods, the human body, when it's healthy, fit and strong, can deal with all of that. But is it possible that we're overloading our kids with stuff that's going to wreck their future? And I'm here with my begging position. Are you the fittest and strongest and healthiest that you can possibly be to live an example for our kids? And that's how I live my life every day. I want people to look at that old lady. Look at Rowie. She's a really old lady, but she's really fit. She's really strong. She's really healthy. She loves her food. She exercises every day. She gets puffed. She can lift heavy. She's got a positive attitude. And are they the fundamentals of being healthy, fit and strong? So again, before we go to medication, to drugs, to pharmaceuticals, to the doctor, to the hospital, why not ask the question, if I didn't get this intervention, is there a different way or a better way for me to get or stay healthy, fit and strong? Another great question I always ask, if I ever ended up in some kind of medical doctor's office or medical professional's office, and oh, Rowie, you've got this and it's going to take this long to get better, or this long to recover, or this long for your injury for you to get over your injury. And I'll use my back, for example. I have no vertebral disc between L4 and 5 in my lower back. And I asked the question, if I was in the Guinness Book of Records for the fastest recovering person ever for this particular injury, how long would that be? Because most medical professionals will say the average time to recover is, or the average time to get better is, or the average time for most people to get over this particular challenge is this time. Well, I don't want to be the average person. I want to be the fastest. I want to get, if I'm injured, I want to get better quickly. And the really interesting thing is I don't get sick, but I often get injured because I do a lot of stuff to my body. Like I'm out in the garden and I climb and hike and do stuff that's high risk. So I get injured quite regularly, but I also recover really, really quickly. Could that be headspace? Could that be fresh air and sunshine? Could that be an immune system that's really strong? So that's my question again. Are you the fittest and strongest and healthiest you can possibly be to live the example for our kids? Because I don't want our kids to think that it's normal to be depressed, to be sick, to be diseased, to be overweight. I would love our kids to live their life to the max. How about you? Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max. Woohoo! Healthy, fit and strong.